Christina here. Welcome to another Friday Focus video focusing on one card, one stamp set. The stamp set I'm using today is from Lawn Fawn and it's called Monster Mash. Someone suggested that I use one of the new Lawn Fawn stamp sets, so that's what I'm doing. I've actually created this card a couple times before this one that you're watching now, and so previously I had already stamped out this little monster with the wings and created a mask out of some Inkadinkado stamping mask paper. So after I stamped him once, I covered him with a mask and then stamped the other two monsters, followed by the greeting. All of these are stamped in StazOn Jet Black ink because I'm going to be using some Distress inks with water today. I'm not using Distress markers, but the inks themselves. Starting out with Seedless Preserves Distress ink and also Worn lipstick, and I'm going to be coloring the tall monster on the far left of the watercolor paper here. By the way, the watercolor paper that I'm using is from Strathmore. It is 140 pound cold press, pre-cut to 5x7. I've trimmed it down to about 5 inches wide by, well, it looks like about 3 inches right now, but it ends up being about 2.5 in the end. So I just watercolored him with those two colors. I started with the purple, Seedless Preserves. Let that dry just a little bit and then brought in some more color. I also dropped in a little bit of that Worn lipstick pink color on his cheeks to create a blush and also for his arms and horns. For the monster in the center, I used crushed olive and peeled paint. Like I did with the first monster, I started out with a lighter color and then brought in the darker color. So I did a whole wash of crushed olive and then came in with peeled paint and then a little bit of pink on his cheeks for some blush. For the last monster, I used a little bit of mustard seed and some spiced marmalade, and I painted on the yellow first and then brought in the orange. I also painted his wings in all orange and brought in some Worn lipstick for his cheeks, just like I did on the other monsters. To create a ground for them to be standing on, I used pumice stone, and I just added a bunch of water, and I also moved to a larger paintbrush for this as well. And over by the greeting, I just added water to my brush and kind of extended that color out. After I was done painting, I helped the drying process along with my heat tool. And then I stamped some little hearts from the stamp set in mustard seed, Worn lipstick, and Seedless Preserves. And then took a small watercolor brush with a tiny bit of water and just smoothed out those hearts because Distress ink doesn't stamp very well, but I just wanted to smooth them out. Now I'm using this note card from Lawn Fawn. This is one of their wood grain note cards. It's just in a brown color. And I put my watercolor piece on some foam adhesive and pressed that down onto the card. At this point, I realized that I actually did want to add some string to the card. And so after I filled in a little bit of the black areas like his mouth, and I just went over some of the lined areas to make sure it was nice and black, I decided that I would take my scissors and just take a little notch right out of the fold. If I had been thinking far enough ahead, I probably would have attached the string before using that foam adhesive to attach the watercolor piece. But since I didn't, I just went ahead and tied it over the entire card. So I just threaded that embroidery floss through the fold and then tied it in a bow. To add detail to these monsters, because they can look a little bit plain because they're kind of all one color, each of them, I decided to take some Wink of Stella clear glitter brush pen and added some detail with some glitter. And then I took some white enamel accents and I completely coated the eye on the one-eye monster. And he's going to look a little possessed right now because he's not going to have a pupil. But I let that dry for a couple hours actually. And then I came back with that same marker that I used to darken up some of those details. And I drew on his pupil and I also cleaned up the edge right around his eye. And that just creates a three-dimensional white eye for him. And it kind of just looks cool. So I took my white gel pen. This is a Sakura Jelly Roll pen, not my usual Uniball, because this one has a little bit of a smaller point so I could make smaller dots. I just made some dots on two of the monsters, and that is the card for today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you guys on Monday for a new Make a Card Monday video. Thank you so so much for watching, and please give this video a big thumbs up. That lets me know you liked this video and you want to see more like it. You can also hit that subscribe button in the top corner. And I have 3 videos for you to check out. These are 3 cards that all use just 1 stamp set. So click on any of those if you're interested in seeing those cards. You can visit my blog at kwarnerdesign.com, and you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Pinterest. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.